Elelani wa Emale muguti Kongo la sikolo Hao aiwe juju Tenga maesa Elelani wa Emale muguti Kongo la sikolo Hao aiwe juju Tenga maesa Oh, aiwe juju tenga maesa
All right, thank you very much. My name is Stembi Sotetwayo from the EFFSC Howard College branch, which is the current government of this campus. Firstly, I think it's important to look back at the struggle of Fees Must Fall, which started 2015, continued 2016. Kunama victories abakhona. For an example, ama fees our bank sakhuphuka, and then the struggle continued 2017. Laba bafika 2017, especially those ababe from quintile 1 to quintile 3, whether they had NSFAS or they did not have NSFAS, they were allowed to register without paying any cent to the university. Be accepted, be registered at this institution. So which was a step forward as a result of the Fees Must Fall. But again, now we are facing a reversal of all these victories under this current administration, where the then Minister of Education, Nale Dipando, under this current administration, what reverse this 8% THEAD grant, ABC assist, because most students who are affected are those from the disadvantaged backgrounds, and which equals they go quintile 1 to quintile 3. But now we have a situation where umuntu obek recognized ukuthi ngeke afford registration because usuwa even quintile 1 they recognize even school akaphuma kusona. Under this current administration, that person again we are back to square one. They are required to pay the fees, and if you do not have money kulesi school you must go and stay home because of money as a reason. What is said is that 2017 we will not forget, the then president, former president Jacob Zuma, announced that free education. We know the political circumstances, yes, but what saddens me the most is that no one, even the current president, agekho umuntu objectile. When the free education was announced, the current president did not object it, did not say no, it's not the time. The current president is pretending as if everything is okay. He's not objecting the announcement of free education, but on practice he's doing the complete opposite. So another issue that links to free education as well is the current method that we are facing, which resulted to the current status quo of the campus. As you know, the academic activities has been suspended. We haven't started anything yet academical until further notice. We are not sure until when, but at least we are sure that until all students are financially cleared, until we are sure that no one is going to go and stay home because they are not financially cleared, because they do not have money. No one is going to be deprived of the opportunity to change their families, to change the communities they are coming from because of money as a reason. Now currently the University of KwaZulu-Natal is demanding 15% of historical debt from students, and as we speak currently there are over 16,000 students that will go and stay home, that will be financially excluded should they not be able to pay this 15%. But I think it's important to point out that there are people who owe like 200,000, there are people who owe 100,000, different amounts, because others are postgrad as well. So amounts differs. There's a black child, there's a child of a grandmother, there's a child of a domestic worker that is required to pay 30,000, which is the 15% of their debt. There's another one who is required to pay 40,000, others 15,000, others 6,000, others 8,000, different amounts depending on their debt. A child of a domestic worker who's earning 1,500, who's earning 2,500 rand, and that person who has the opportunity to change their family, university, my student are being deprived of that opportunity because of not having that man by this institution. But I think it's important to note that the current minister, Blake Ndimande, or should I say the government at large, has announced that students should register, has announced that especially those funded by NSFAS must register. But in this institution, we have a situation where even NSFAS funded students are told that they are owing and they must pay 15%. And really, this thing must be investigated because I think we are being victimized as students by the battle that we don't enter to, by the battle between the DHET and the university, because the government is saying something else and then the university is doing something else as well, is implementing something else as well. So we will not allow VC. His name is Nana Poko. He grew up there in Britain. He doesn't know, he doesn't understand our struggles here as students. He doesn't understand our struggles as South African black students. He might understand them, maybe he's an academic, maybe he read them or whatsoever, but practically he doesn't. He is a British black man. By the way, yes, he's our brother, but he practically doesn't know our struggles. That is why it's easy for him to say that no, 16,000 black children must go home and stay only because they do not have money. To him, it doesn't matter how much you have passed. To him, it doesn't matter if academically you are deserving. How can logically, how can we expect a person, because this thing, the education must not be reduced to a commodity. We all know that it is a right. It is a constitutional right entrenched in the Bill of Rights, Chapter 2 of the Constitution. So it must not be reduced to a commodity to an extent where it must really be for sale, and if you do not have the price, you must go home. It must not be like that. And then we're having a problem of a VC who contradicts the government. For him, I don't know whether he thinks this is Britain or what. Another issue that I must speak about is the issue of postgrads, because they are one of the mostly affected group. Remember, the country at large has neglected the postgraduates, the postgraduates at large. So I'm a postgraduate. Remember, they do not have funding, and you find that the person was studying for 3 years or for 4 years was a postgrad, and unama debt of over 300,000. Lo muntu lona agana funding at all, and then the government will come and say abantu abano NSFAS mabaclear, even though this university is not complying to that as well. But you'll find the government ati laba bano NSFAS abaclear issue. What are you saying to the postgraduates? What I was saying to the honor student, what I was saying to the master student and the PhD candidate, what I was saying to them, because those ones are not NSFAS students. The question that we must look at is uma ngabe umuntu ebefunda ngo NSFAS from first year was and then now say honor student, what has changed? Because you recognize that the person doesn't have the money first year, doesn't have the money second year, and then third year, and now say honor student, he wants to further his studies. Or is this country or this university saying that then you recognize postgraduate education. So it is that issue edala ukuthi sibe kulesi status esikusona namanje njobona ama-academic activities suspendiwe. The leadership of the SRC is currently also engaging with the management since last year. I think I do have to point out that as well. But also another issue that I must not leave out is the issue of accommodation, because we have over 1,000 students that are stranded, that do not have residencies. Some of them funded by NSFAS, some of them not funded by NSFAS. But what in terms of the Department of the Resident Affairs, Department of Housing, interbenza ukuthi ngisho umfundo ne-NSFAS approved no-NSFAS, funding office approved this one as NSFAS engenayo. Mafika lapha that's why go to a private accommodation. Now this is something that we must look at. Umuntu ongenawo 6,500 registration that is required by university. Also tata up 5,000 of the deposit that is required by our landlords in the private accommodations as well. It's part of the issue happening because we have many students, some of them funded by NSFAS, some of them not funded by NSFAS, but there are over 1,000 that do not have residencies. Not that there are no buildings in town, but it is because of selfishness, it is because of greed by the officials of this university, because what they do, they go around asking for kickbacks from the landlords, from the owners. So if now you can go to town, you'll see that there are buildings ready to take students, but the university does not want to procure those buildings because the landlord maybe refused to the unreasonable amounts that were asked by these officials of this university. So that is how it operates. They baveza i-desperacy yesikole outside there kuma landlords bese basho no nginama students akhona ama students they are stranded, we can put them here but give me this amount. And then when the landlords refuse to give those amount, they would rather have ama students stranded, they would rather have some students here at SU every day. Even tonight you can come to SU uzobona ama students with bags ama office, and even ama passaging, because ama office of the SRC zakgcwele bags out there. You'll see even tonight mziningi kwa ama students are stranded there, and the university doesn't care. What those students are funded, the university doesn't care about them. So this issue of accommodation is a serious issue nayo futhi esibekayo kulesi state esikusona njengamanje. But also it's important to point out ukuthi or to note how management undermines the elected leadership elected by the student, not just Howard College, not just Westville, or the institution at large, all 5 campuses of UKZN, including SRC. They are trying, I can tell you. We are student activists on the ground. We have seen them fighting. We have seen them engaging. They are trying. They are taking the mandate of student exactly as it is. But the management is not taking the student leadership serious. They are not taking the student leadership serious. They are undermining them. There is nothing that is said by the leadership that are taking serious. As right now, I can tell you on Tuesday there was a march, but when there was a march, SRC was in the meeting with the management at Westville. The only thing that they came out with in that meeting, after a protest, after a long protest, after a long suspension of academic activities, the only thing they came out with was the extension of registration to 6 March. And the arrogance of this university, but in that email, but okay, academic activities are suspended until further notice, but e-registration must continue, by the way. And this is the tactic they are playing. This is the tactic they're playing. They want to reach their target once in Tabazoyenza. Registration, they will hit their target. Those who doesn't have money will be excluded, and they will say no, academic activities must resume. But I can assure you now, there is no one, at least not now, at least not in this era of free education, there is no one who will go ayoshalekaya because of money as a reason. There was a call for free education in 2015. There was a call for free education in 2016. Our peers were victimized. Our peers were jailed. Our peers died. Our peers went through many kinds of victimization, and even now we are not going to stop, because this is our right, that we believe that it must not be reduced to a commodity. But also I think it is important to note we are currently seeking legal advice. We are currently seeking a legal advice. We want a judiciary to explain to us, want the South African judiciary to explain to us what map lama rights law in the Bill of Rights that must be for sale and which right that must not be for sale. Because just like the right to life, just like the right to housing, the right to health care, education is also a right as well. Why is education then reduced to a commodity? So we are going to file a case. We want a judiciary to explain to us, and we are also going to seek to interdict the restoration, because remember, as much as restoration is extended to 6 March, the restoration process is continuing. We want to interdict this restoration. We are currently, as we speak tonight, we are going to meet one of our legal advisors, and then from there we are going to have a way forward. But for now, I can tell you the struggle is going to intensify. The struggle is going to continue, because this management of the management of this university ayimisele ngokuregister abafundi, ayimisele ngokulalela government bacabanga ukuthi baphila kwi South Africa yabo yodwa. Ula government osikona abaregister abantu, abaclash abantu, and then bona they are doing the opposite thing. But also, as the struggle intensifying, I will take also this opportunity to condemn any kind of violence, any kind of assassins. And I want to assure you, because there's this propaganda that students are burning property, students are burning buildings. That is a blatant lie. We are always at the forefront. And then if you go to university, they boast to they have cameras everywhere. If these buildings cameras everywhere, then they must bring evidence. They must not go around and lie. Good students are burning the property. We're always at the forefront. There is no single day where student leadership has given a mandate to students now go and pen here, go and pen there. Or if they can't give evidence, they must go to my cameras. They keep my footage and prove what my students depend. If they prove local, it means even ourselves in this institution we are not safe. It means they don't have cameras as well. Yeah, it means we are not safe in this institution. There are many problems about this institution that we want the government at large, but not only the government, all leaders of this country, from the National Assembly, from the provincial legislature, to intervene in this issue of UKZN. Because as we speak tonight, we can bet now. We can bet now. Uzomuzo president in his address, he will post. Just like any other, the government will post to say there's free education, there is this, but tomorrow there is a joint march tomorrow of all this institution. Your MUT will be there, DUT will be there, UNISA will be there, UKZN will be there. Why? Because students everywhere are being financially excluded. Students, if UKZN alone has a figure of over 16,000 students, how much more segnet DUT? How much more segnet MUT? How much more segnet UNISA? Zingag is guns because they do not have money. And in these figures, it's important to note there is no single white person and there's no single Indian person. It means that we are still under the same victimization after 26 years of democracy. They have no redress, injustices of the past. We are still suffering like we are under the apartheid government. But we are not going to stop. We are saying free education now. We will fight till the bitter end. We will fight until we achieve free education. Thank you very much. All right. First of all, despite ukubaleka comment ama classes, but I can't be sure. There's no certainty ukuthi ama class azo commenting. But at least I'm sure that azo commenter when there is no single person or financially excluded, once everyone is financially cleared, then classes will commence. At least I'm sure of that. So when the university decides to clear everyone tomorrow, then classes can even begin next week. When they clear everyone next week, when they clear everyone on March, once everyone is financially cleared, then the classes will commence. So this university must just fasten the process. That circumstance can only face us as black people. Like I said earlier, gulo 16,000 normal students lapha UKZN are financially cleared. It's only us, black people, and history tells us that we've been getting our small victories less now, sasangeni democracy, through struggling. That person must not be demoralized. That person must not for a second think of going back home. That person must stick with us to in the struggle. That person must remain, will fight for that person until I be financially cleared. So I can't have the response of an alternative, because there's no alternative. My mindset is thinking of nothing but free education. So I can say Lo Muntilo must not even think of the circumstances, because we are going to win the struggle. We are going to get, we are going to emerge victorious in the struggle. Lo muntu lo kuzoba financially cleared. So I now 15%, we are at the era of free education. That person will be cleared. Now uzofunda njalo wonke umfundi. That's all I can say. Well, it's a question esinayo sonke lokuthi ivalelwane 8% grant, but obviously there was a change of administrations, the Zuma administration, and now there's Ramaphosa administration. It's important to know ukuthi 8% grant is as a result of the fees must fall struggle, and towards the end yet President Jacob Zuma, and into a scrap where 2018, if I'm not mistaken. So ukuthi valelwane, I have no idea except the greed and the nature of the capital, the nature of the capitalists who are currently in charge of the state. So into bonimali, because we must point out that the capital is currently in charge of this of this country. The capital is currently in charge. So the first thing mabengena nje unalect Pandey appointwa as a minister of education, one of her first decisions was to scrap this 8%. So it is a result of greed of the capital. We do not encourage our students to sign those AOD forms, acknowledging debts that you cannot pay. It's illogical. I'm coming to you. I do not have 15%, and then you are saying acknowledge my debts, and then the following year you are saying you have debts that you acknowledged last year. Pay 20% of those debts you acknowledged them you signed. So we do not encourage students to sign those AOD forms. Our mandate is clear. It's a mandate of electors. Free education. So those who have paid also 15%, well, they've done so, even though we do not encourage it, but our still remains 15%. What our struggle is the struggle not of figures of no, there must 15%, there must be 30%. We are not fighting for figures here. We are not fighting for numbers here. We are fighting for free education, and the future that is in our minds right now is the future of a free education. So so we are not going to speak on figures that no, must 50%, but acknowledge my debt. Okay, next year, so acknowledge my debt or what? We are clear. Our struggle is a struggle for free education, is not for figures or numbers. It's the nature of the current government. South Africa esiphila kuyona currently kwampunze endlemini. wonke umuntu uyasicanasela umuntu nomuntu uzenzela into akayithandayo. There is a lot of corruption not just in government but in its institutions as well. Remember, this is a public institution as well. There is a lot of corruption that is going on, and again it's not like akwaziwa ukuthi kwenzakalani. There are officials, there are important figures that are involved in this corruption leyenzakalayo. So in that question to us as well as student leadership, it doesn't make sense at all. Ukuthi ngino NSFAS but you are saying I must pay. Ngani ngithola NSFAS because I do not afford. That is why ngithola NSFAS. So why then must I pay that money? So those students are part of those students SCT abangabikho demoralized. Abangacabanga ngani bengazi abazali bongena komashonisa ezikolletini abangebe kwazi ngisho ukuyikhokha. That demand by the university is nonsensical. That demand is illogical. Those students must not do that. They must not even, they must just come. Such that is why academic activities are suspended, because we are currently engaged in the struggle of all those things. But also I think it's important this corruption must be investigated. It must be investigated, because as far as I know, any first year supplement, any first year or must student level, any first are okay. Nigi package for the year, who's excelling Shimal, a good supplies. So how come you know any first opinions on quality food? It's illogical, it's nonsensical, and it's a corruption that must be investigated. We have a huge crisis with Department of Resident Affairs, a huge crisis, and we are faced with a high level of incompetence by those officials at Lapaka Housing. All of them, right from their head, the ET downwards, we are faced by incompetence and greed in department. And in terms of application, there is no dates specified ukuthi ama applications as of learning lapha nje kunamadoda athile nama officials athile asenzela isemzini yabo nje lapha kaze ngikhale sabe isicathulo lapha ka housing, because hayi ngoba ama spaces engekho noma ama buildings engekho sengeke mention earlier, but they just don't want into abayenzayo ne agenda bayipushayo ilento abahlezi beyenza each and every year of selling the spaces. Yazi ungaya manje wenza research manje lapha housing uzothola ukuthi ukhona umuntu oyitholile accommodation oyitholile rest namhlanje, but ukhona ufika ukuthi application ayikavalwa. But when you follow up lo oyitholile rest emithole kanjani, you'll find out ukuthi umuntu ukhokhile, ukwazile ukhokhile imali bayibekhokhiso 5,000 bekhokhiso 6,000 to get a resident. And we do meet law students and for security reasons as well mention amagama and them as well. They are afraid to point out our names of abantu in that department who are engaged, because now in this period le protest again there is too much desperation kumuntu omnyama ulele SU qamele phezulu kwesikama akanalo. So mangabe umzali ebokumeleze kumashonisa azawuthola lo 5,000 kuze ingane yakhe ihlale nayithola imfundo engcono kwazi yoshintsha isimo sempilo ekhaya, umzali uzohamba yongena amashonisa and bangaka 6,000 abaya kulama individuals kule department le abathathe every day, because ama applications ona but avaliwe, but akenasho ukhona umuntu ethola rest namhlanje lo muntu lo ingoba ukwazile. So it's part of the corruption that must be investigated in this university. So also not to forget the issue of commune students as well. Labo ke balahliwe, they've been neglected by this university. Vethatha nje hayi nathi samabona ke ne landlord yakho ukuthi wenza njani ngayi balahliwe akwazi ukuthi banjani. Each and every day we receive cases of students ababanjwe inkunzi abasuka kuma communes, because there's nothing caterishable even in terms of transportation, even security. We wish we have asked from the askayithola impendulo but sicelile ukuthi besinikeze criteria abayisebenzisayo ukuphasisa lama communes la khona, because seemingly security the security measures is not part of that criteria, because security cameras ingane ziyagqekezela phakathi zingene khonjo ngezibhamu phakathi ziphucwe zonke into zazo, ziphucwe wonke ama-assets azo, ziphucwe ama-laptops okumele befunde ngawo. Mase buyingane phela ngithi ngi-student and le community was approved by university, mase ihamba ingane yeka housing awusayingena, but no hayi into yakho nele ndodo. So lezi ngane lezi lapha ama-community zilahliwe, and leadership ayiyekeli each and every day yazama ukuthi kube khona ama-engagement, but le ye-transportation i-university has distanced itself completely, but leadership is currently trying to find a plan of transporting those students. But university, I must say, yona if like distanta yathi ayingeni indaba transportation of the students ahlala kuma communes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Siswa.
Thank you.